Candlelight and incense, watch until the sun sets. Crown up on my princess, fringes on her sundress. Flyer than some insects, flowing like a swing set. In-depth breakdowns, off the rip index. My recepts is precepts, I'm lost in her scriptures. The art and painted pictures of her fruit are so delicious. Only when she departs from out my heart is she malicious. I obtain her, my chamber fills with precious pleasant riches. Some don't understand, some things they cannot digest. She is great and no debate and circulate and digress. She crieth out, but neither of her eyes wept. Christians out they frog ass mind, this time to dissect. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above.
Y'all believe in God, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, you believe in God? What's your nationality, bro?
I'm Mexican and white.
Your dad Mexican?
Yeah. All
praise to the Most High, God, right? All right, so now I'm going to talk to you, bro. Right? Because the Bible, bro, is our history, bro. It's something that goes back to our ancestors. What part of Mexico is your dad from? You don't know? Do you know your dad?
No, yeah, I know my dad.
You know your dad? Okay. Have you ever visited Mexico or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been to Mexico, but like it's not like we have any family there. Like,
oh, okay.
My dad's deepest family is just his mom, so my grandma.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
I don't know anyone else.
So do you know if your father's dad was Mexican?
Yeah, he was.
He was?
My dad's 100% Mexican.
Oh, that's what's up, man. All praise to the Most High, right?
Like, my grandpa's dead, though. Like, he's been...
Okay, right? Somebody give me Numbers 1 and 18, Bible Kashal, right? Because the Bible talks about us being who our father is. That's why I'm pinpointing your father and your grandfather, right? You got that?
Yep.
Right? Let's read this real quick.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
Right? That means they just gathered everybody in the congregation, was like, all right, let's see who you are based off of your father's lineage, right? That's why we focus on who your father is, right? So you being Mexican, bro, based off of biblical history, world history, geological history, we pinpoint that us being Mexican, I'm Mexican myself, my brother, and these two brothers are Native American, right? We pinpoint to the fact that we are the true Israelites of the Bible, bro. And that the Bible talks about nothing but Israelites, bro. I mean, of course, it talks about other nations as well, right? But the majority, like, what it all comes down to is for us, our people, man. So, do you know about the enslavement of the Spaniards coming over and committing the atrocities that they did to our ancestors, bro?
Yeah, I do.
What do you know about it, man?
I mean, I took AP history last year, and we learned hella about not just like Spanish enslavement, but also like the people who came over and enslaved like natives and like black people too, and like bringing them across like the
transatlantic slave trade, right? Because quiet as kept, bro. The transatlantic slave trade was also something that was done to us, bro. We were being transported to other parts of the world as well. You know, the Philippines, Poland, Sweden, so on and so forth, bro. Those are things that our ancestors went through, right? Did you grow up religious at all?
No, not really.
No?
My mom grew up like going to like church and stuff in school.
Yeah.
But I never I didn't grow up like with them like taking me to church.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked you that is because us being Hispanic, bro, we're very influenced by Christianity, Catholicism, and everything, right? But of course, we know we got that from the genocide and the enslavement of the Spaniards, right? So I'm gonna read a few things in the Bible, bro, that are curses that were put upon our people, right? So just throw a few of them out there, bro. Let's see what's going on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Right.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right, and we were talking about the transatlantic slave trade, right? Because you brought that up.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know any history of the Israelites in Egypt?
No, not really.
No? So, basically, Joseph was in good rulership out there, and then his family came over, and the Israelites started to multiply in Egypt. So then Pharaoh was like, nah, I can't get down with that, because now they about to start overpopulating us. So then they started to enslave the Israelites, bro. The same thing that was happening to our Aztec ancestors, Pharaoh started doing that to the Israelites in Egypt, right? So it said that we're going to go back into Egypt again with ships. But when the Israelites left Egypt, they walked out of it. Yeah. So let's see what Egypt corresponds or correlates to us, right? Our ancestors, right? Exodus 22.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Right? It says, out of the house of bondage. So when our ancestors would think about Egypt, that's what we would think about, bro. Bondage, right? So right there, Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again, right? Into slavery again on ships, right? Let's read it again.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68 from the top. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right, go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen,
right?
And no man shall buy you.
Right, and so it's saying that we're going to go into slavery again as bondmen and bondwomen. Did that not happen to our ancestors as the Aztecs, bro? Mm-hmm. Right? We were being, while they were transporting our black brothers and sisters this way, they were transporting us that way. Same thing with Native Americans, bro. And it says that we're going to be for bondmen and bondwomen and nobody's going to buy us, right? That the etymology for the word buy, it means to redeem, bro. Nobody has redeemed us from the atrocities that we've been going through throughout all our generations as black and brown people, bro. We to this day, bro, we'll live. Those things are gonna happen to us, right? Give me verse. What was it? 40. Yeah,
Con. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed.
Right, hey brother, are you so-called African American?
Yeah.
All right, so this is for you as well, right? We were just talking about the transatlantic slave trade, and it's in the Bible, bro.
Right.
Just to keep it short, us as black, brown, indigenous people, we are the Israelites of the Bible, and God told us that we were going to go into slavery on ships because we didn't listen to his commandments, right? So okay. All right, so now I got a question for you guys. Right? Yes, for you guys. How do you guys feel about the atrocities that your ancestors did to our ancestors?
I feel that when I think back about how people could do that, I can't really imagine how people can inflict their will like that on other people. Because I just can't understand the feelings that they must have to be able to do that.
Okay.
So I just don't really understand.
All right, what about you, man?
I agree with that. You know, growing up in the Bay, you don't see that hatred they inflict on those people. You're around so many cultures. I can't imagine inflicting that much hatred on a certain race just because of the color of their skin.
Okay, that I fuck with that, right? So, what do you guys think needs to be done for what has happened to us?
Like reparations?
Reparations, things that are justified, like karma, right? I don't know if it was you guys or another person that I spoke to, but they said karma, right? Y'all believe in karma, right?
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that it would be fair for you guys having to go through the same things that we went through as karma?
I mean, not really.
No?
I think that's against what, in Christ.
But
Continuing the cycle of hatred.
okay, but you guys have been benefiting from that, from our atrocities that you guys committed to us. What do you think? I'm gonna ask you guys. Do you think that let's separate the fact that these are your friends, right? There's nothing wrong with having white friends, but let's just talk about white people as a whole. Do you guys believe that white people should pay for the atrocities that have happened to us for what they did to our ancestors?
I think the biggest thing that I think they just like need to be educated. Like there's so many like, maybe not the Bay as much, but other parts of the country like that literally don't understand that they did like that like white people did all these bad things like in history.
Right.
Like they don't get that like at all because of like ignorance and like education, and they weren't taught these things because of like where they're from.
Okay. So then what about, oh, go ahead. What's your answer, brother?
I was gonna say, I think people should, instead of focusing on how are we gonna punish these people about what they did in the past, people should, like he said, be more educated on the effects it has today, like why there's a culture and why there's a stigma of black dads not being present in the household, or why the ghetto is associated with black people, how systemic racism like redlining and segregated schools led up to that. How black people weren't able to create generational wealth because, you know,
because of slavery. Let's be real.
Mainly because of like black codes and Jim Crow.
Okay, so
You know,
who put all those things in effect, bro?
But I think instead of like punishing,
Hold on. Before you go, I want to hear his answer for
Well,
that.
I
Right?
understand like why people put that into effect, but that's not an outcome I'm looking for. Like,
Okay.
It doesn't benefit black people to punish white people. It benefits black people to educate white people and
But
take
have
away the stigma and these stereotypes.
have black and brown people not been educating white people about all these things that they've done to us? Not only have we been trying to educate them, they know about it. They know about it, bro. There's still people who are gaining generational wealth from plantations. You feel me? Yeah. They know about it. They're well educated about it, but it's still going on today. Yeah. They don't care, right? Go ahead.
All right, so this is a news article. This is NBC News. It says Feds bust modern day slavery. Feds bust modern day slavery ring amid new immigration enforcement effort. At least 100 immigrant workers were freed from conditions in which at least 2 died, another was repeatedly raped, and others were kidnapped and threatened with death.
Right.
I still got, I don't know if you want me to...
I mean that pretty much sums it up, right? So they're already well educated on what has happened, but they still continue to do it.
This happened 4 years ago.
And this happened just 4 years ago, right? Georgia. And this was in Georgia, bro. This is still happening in the United States, in the South at that, right? Where there's still homes, there's still places that are very huge plantations. And obviously they're not used as plantations today, but people have gained wealth over that.
But yeah, that's like, especially like what I was talking about earlier with like education and parts of the country like Georgia, like they specifically have like different textbooks and like different books are banned to like control the education and like what people learn about. So like people will grow up in Georgia or will live in Georgia thinking something completely different from like what we learned here in the Bay.
Right.
And I feel like that's like one, like the systematic like education that we need to change. And like what I was gonna say earlier, instead of like punishing like white people, I think it's way more important to like uplift like minority communities.
Right, okay. I mean, and that's pretty much what we're out here trying to do, right? Uplift our people as black and brown people, right? Teaching the truth about history and the Bible, right? But if they already have all the educational resources about it and they know about it, how has it benefited? How has that changed anything?
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. How like people will like be fully aware of it and still like do like bad things.
Well, I mean, they're not fully aware of it.
There are people who are fully aware of it and still like choose to.
Majority of them do, bro. Let's be real. Majority of white people are sure and know and have historical artifacts. People still have in these plantational homes, bro. They still have chairs, and they're even in museums. There's chairs that are filled with the wool of your ancestors, bro. The hair of your ancestors. It's out there, bro. It's not something that's being hidden. Slave skin, bro. All of that, bro. Even with Nat Turner. You know who Nat Turner is?
Yeah.
You guys all know who Nat Turner is, right? Yeah. You guys know what they did to Nat Turner? They ate him. They ate him, and his bones are being passed down to the families that did that. That is a inheritance heirloom, bro. And they know about it. So what do you think about that?
I mean, like, that's obviously terrible. And there's, like, just, like, I mean, there's so many horrible things that go on in the world. It's, like, it's hard to, like...
Well, I don't understand what you're asking.
So I'm asking all of this because do you guys believe that they need to pay for it? You guys are saying that we need to teach them about it.
In what way?
Karma. Everybody believes in karma, right?
So we should get punished.
Of course.
Like as a population, we feel like it is.
Yes. Give me Isaiah 14. Oh, go ahead.
So like
This is-
the opposite.
This is the book of Revelation.
Check this out, right? Let's read this.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter
Can I tell
13
you something?
and verse
Hold
9.
on. Let's read this real quick.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Right? You guys have ears. I can see them. You guys should listen, right?
And buddy, this is Christ right here.
Right?
See if you agree
Yes.
with Jesus.
These are the words of Christ, right? Go ahead.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right?
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
So those who have led into captivity must go into captivity. Those who have killed with the sword should be killed with the sword. Do you agree with Christ or not? Okay, right? So I'm gonna touch base with that. Go ahead.
Punishing white people. I think MLK said this when addressing fellow clergymen,
Okay.
like around the country,
Uh-huh.
when they're like criticizing his nonviolent protest and why he's saying we can't do violent protests. And he's basically saying that, pretty much a summary of what he said. It's like a long essay or
Yeah, of
whatever.
course. He gave very long speeches.
Pretty much what he said was that violence in the same aspect that they're doing is just further racism, and to move forward as a nation, because that was he was focusing on is having colored people get the same equal liberties and treatment as white people. And today it's less of same treatments and rights because we all have the same rights. It's
Right.
more of
Okay.
a-
Well,
it's
to
more
a
of
certain
a-
extent, let's be real.
Well, I mean,
Because
yeah,
in
I
the
get there.
Constitution, it still says
It's
what
more
it
of
says,
a-
bro.
It's more of a societal like mental aspect that we're trying to change today. That's like it should be the main focus is changing
Okay.
people's entire mindset on what racial differentials mean, like what that creates as a nation. He basically said violence in that same aspect is just further racism. That's just increased racism. So what that leads to in turn is
Just more
you can-
conflict, right?
It's more conflict. It's going to be more racism from white people.
Yeah.
And that's the majority in America is white people.
Okay.
It's like
So
80%.
are you aware of one of his words in one of his last speeches? He said, I feel it goes along the lines of him saying, I have led my people to a house of fire. The whole time throughout, huh?
He says that I fear that I've led my people into a burning building.
Right, he said that he
burning
fears that I've led my people into a burning building. So throughout the whole time that he was teaching that we should try to push to have that equality with white people, towards the end he said, and I'm gonna just put it in like a more, he said, damn, I think I fucked up. I led my people to a fucked up thing, bro. Right? The integration, right? So, what do you think about that? Because he was trying to push for all of that, and then
I don't know. I can't really speak on. I don't know. The context.
right, but essentially he's saying that, damn, throughout all of this that I was doing, trying to get us to have the equality as white people, I messed up trying to have my people wanting to live with them.
Well, I mean, what I'm thinking I'm hearing from you is this. What I'm here. Listen.
There's the quote right there.
Okay. I have no clue the context, but basically what I'm pulling from that is, I can't assume what he meant by that, but maybe he's saying
Give me
that
Isaiah 14, Baba Kasha.
it's. I mean, I don't know how to respond.
So you say you can't assume what he meant by that, but it says that he has, what was he trying to do? Integrate black and white people,
yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
So why are you beating around the bush? It says, I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. Who was he trying to integrate with?
White people, yeah.
So the white people are the burning house that he has led his people to. Because the white people have destroyed our people, and they are the burning house that he led us into.
Right? So now I want to kind of jump back to what you were saying, right? About it wasn't you who killed my ancestors, right? But let's see what the Bible says. Hold on, I want you to start from the top, right?
Okay.
Let's start from the top. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
And mind you, we know that Isaiah was a prophet, right? So he's speaking about things that are going to come into play in the latter days, right? Go ahead.
And will yet choose Israel.
Right, so the Lord is going to have mercy on Jacob and choose Israel, right? The Israelites, who you would see on this sign in the Western Hemisphere, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, right? Go ahead.
And set them in their own land.
Right.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right, go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, so yes, we're still going to have strangers there, right? We're still going to have white people there in the land that was given to us, to the Israelites, black and browns, right? Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right, so the Israelites are going to take these strangers, these other nations, into our place.
And the house of Israel shall possess them.
What does it mean to possess? If I possess you, what does that mean? I own you, right? So it's saying that the Israelites are going to own these strangers in that land, right?
In the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
What does that mean? If you guys are gonna join us in our land for handmaids and servants, what does that mean? That you guys are gonna be our slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay.
And they shall.
Because earlier you said that doesn't sound very Christ-like. We go to Revelation 13:10 where it says, you're going to be killed with the sword. You're going to be enslaved for what your people did. You said that's not very Christ-like when we just said it out of our own mouth, right? Now we're reading God's words through the prophet Isaiah saying this. How do you feel about that as a Bible believer now?
I appreciate things Christ says about like loving all.
The good things.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? The same people who brought that image of a white Jesus beating our backs, raping our women, raping the men, stealing our country, and taking our culture from us, told us to love everybody. How does that work?
Well, I don't think the people who created that image, I don't think
Christians.
I don't think that people necessarily created the image of Jesus loving everybody. I think that's what Jesus is.
When did the indigenous get that message of Christ?
What do you mean?
When did the indigenous people of this land get the message of Christ?
Of loving everybody.
Huh?
When they were put into slavery.
When your people came over here and told us, love everybody, but we're gonna beat your back, kill over 100 million of you guys. So the same message that was taught to us, you guys never did.
But that's you're saying you guys. That's not.
Okay, so all right, and I'm gonna.
How is that? I just don't understand that.
I get that. All right, so I'm gonna jump to that, right? I'm gonna have him finish this, and then he's gonna jump into a latter verse, right? Go ahead.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Right.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right. So this is the context of Isaiah 14, that Israelites are gonna take the strangers, the other nations who have enslaved us, made us captives. We are going to possess you guys, and we are going to take you guys, and you guys are going to be our handmaids, our servants, and we are going to oppress over you guys the same way that you guys have oppressed over us, right? So that's the context of Isaiah 14. So now I'm going to touch the point that you said, right? Now this is the same book, but a latter verse, right? Read that.
I got a different translation.
Come on, go ahead, that's fine.
This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21 in the NLT. Kill this man's children.
Right.
Let them die because of their father's sins.
Right.
They must now rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities.
Right, so that's saying killed this man's children because of what their fathers did, because of the atrocities that their fathers did. So although you may have not been the one doing that to our people, you still have to deal with that because of what your forefathers did. The same way that the Israelites have to pay for us not keeping the commandments of God, we are being punished for not following what our ancestors did. You guys as white people are going to have to pay for the atrocities that your forefathers did to us. Bro, I'm saying you guys as white people, your ancestors, right, whatever. Okay, I understand that. I understand that, right?
Like,
but we're not going to be doing what your ancestors did to us in that homosexual way.
My ancestors were poor immigrants who came here in like 1920. So.
Okay, but you're white, right? Your ancestors are white?
Yeah, but again, you're saying.
I'm gonna let you carry it.
Yeah.
Your parents came over here by choice. They said, I'm gonna go over there in America because the other white people that came in made it ready for me to come over here. They fixed it for me, right?
They fixed it from.
Made it ready for you to come over here, right?
Fascism and stuff, yeah.
Huh?
They fixed it based on the government.
What are you talking about, man?
They fixed it based on the fact that people who weren't really rich in those European countries were being oppressed heavily by the government.
You ever heard of a book called White Trash?
No.
White people make a society based on there has to be rich white people and there has to be poor white people. This is structurally made that way. Because there's poor white people does not take away from the atrocities that your ancestors did.
Right.
Because your mom was able to fly over here with a visa or a passport, my people are dying on the damn border right now, getting lost 300,000 people, and they can't come over here. White people in Ukraine get flown over here on damn airplanes. Haitians right now are revolting against the government, getting killed, bro. Salvadorians declared a state of emergency 2 years ago. What did we get? A big FU. But white people go through something, I'm gonna put you on an airplane. You know what they said about the Ukrainians too? They're gonna call you when they get there. But don't be scared of that. That's how they talk over there. You see the difference between how your people get treated versus how we get treated?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah?
I do. I think that. No, I agree with you. I think that the difference is totally.
That's what I'm saying. So because mommy and daddy came over here on a visa, that doesn't change anything, bro. Your ancestors still set up over here, bro. But see, this is the thing, bro. You gotta. I know once the accusations come out, the same way how bro is trying to say, let's just teach white people. This is what we're gonna deal with.
Candlelight and incense, watch until the sun sets. Crown up on my princess, fringes on her sundress. Flyer than some insects, flowing like a swing set. In-depth breakdowns, off the rip index. My recepts is precepts, I'm lost in her scriptures. The art and painted pictures of her fruit are so delicious. Only when she departs from out my heart is she malicious. I obtain her, my chamber fills with precious pleasant riches. Some don't understand, some things they cannot digest. She is great and no debate and circulate and digress. She crieth out, but neither of her eyes wept. Christians out they frog ass mind, this time to dissect. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above. The truth surrounded in discipline.